Hello guys, Tops here today, something special. I want to talk to you why I think the Headhunter perk is actually one of the best damage perks in the game. And of course your primary damage perks will be Berserk Killing Frenzy, that combination. But what comes after that? And I think Headhunter is a very good perk. And what does Headhunter do? Headhunter means if you hit an opponent in the head, which you have a 25% chance of, the next hit that you will do will also hit the head, guaranteed. Guaranteed to hit the head. And why is that good? Basically, you are attacking the same armor part twice. And with a big two-handed weapon, that means that you are more likely to kill your opponent faster. Because if you know how armor works in Battle Brass, if you hit your opponent, like the hit point damage gets prevented by remaining armor. So hitting one body part, either the head or the body, multiple times in a row is the fastest way to kill an opponent. Because if I hit an opponent in the head, the damage gets blocked by the armor, but the helmet gets destroyed by that hit. Okay? The next hit will go to the body, but my opponent still has body armor. So the hit point damage will be prevented by that body armor. And he has still some body armor left. So the next hit will also get maybe into the body. And now the damage will still get reduced by the amount of body armor my opponent has. So I maybe need to hit him a fourth time before I can kill him. Like for a medium or weaker opponent, that's not unrealistic. Right? So hitting your opponent guaranteed in the head twice is a very fast way to kill an opponent. And most weaker opponents, or I would say the majority of opponents have low health with medium armor. So hitting them in the head twice is with a big two-hander, and even with some one-handed weapons, is a kill most of the time. So for instance, opponents who have 75 hit points are the Brigand Raiders, like the whole Brigand faction has 75 hit points. The Thugs have less. The Nomads have 75 hit points with medium or low armor. I would call it medium armor, so like 150 or less. Noble houses have, I think even some have 65 HP, some have 75 HP. So fairly low hit points with 200 or less armor, sometimes significant less armor, as well as mercenaries and the conscripts, although the conscripts have nimble, so I won't include it in that one. But even against nimble, double headshotting them does a good job. And you might say, Ancient Undead, by the way, have 65 hit points, I think, so they even have lower hit points with 200 armor or less. And you might argue, man, Steel Bro counters Headhunter. In theory, that is correct. Steel Bro prevents you from the critical hit bonus that you get, which is applied at the end of the damage calculation. So basically, at the end of the damage calculation, a headshot does 50% bonus damage to hit points. Just to hit points at the end of the damage calculation. So Steel Bro prevents basically this critical hit at the end of the damage calculation from appearing, right? But you still hit him but the Headhunter is still getting triggered. So you hit your opponent in the head, the critical damage is getting prevented, but most of the time you still destroy the head armor and the second headshot chance. You are still guaranteed to have the second hit as a headshot, and that will most likely kill your opponent. And again, as I said, even the Thralls, the only opponents that have really high hit points are the Barbarians. They have, I think the Reavers have 120 hit points, and the Chosens. The Thralls have 65 hit points, I think. And of course, Orcs. Like, even the Orc Youngs have 120 hit points, Berserkers have 200, and Orc Warriors too, I think. Roughly. So the only two opponents that have really high hit points are Chosen and Orc Warriors, basically. And against none of them have steel brow, by the way. That means, and in general, they tend to have, there's another thing, most opponents tend to have lower head armor than body armor. And that's especially true for Orc Warriors. A lot of Orc Warriors have 400 body armor, but 240 head armor. Which means it is way faster to kill your opponent through the head armor. Like a lot of two-handed weapons will actually two-shot or coming close to two-shotting an Orc Warrior with a double headshot. And there are certain builds that I have, something like the flail HEADHUNTER build with the two-handed flail, which is especially good if you find a brute guy who is plus 15% damage on headshots. This guy, if you find a guy who is brute and you can make him into a two-handed flail guy, he has a 40% chance of two-shotting an Orc Warrior. It's actually crazy. Especially against Orc Warriors and to a certain degree and against Chosen, the fastest way to kill those opponents is through headshots, in my opinion. And the weaker opponents who only have 65 or 75 or 50 or 60 HP, if you have a big two-hander, most of the time, even if they have steel brow, by the way, they are still getting one-shotted by a two-handed weapon because they have so low HP and they have low armor. And again, most brigands and noble houses, there are a lot of them who have no helmets or really light helmets. A lot of nomads have light or weaker helmets too. So even on nomads with big two-handed weapons, headshots a lot of the times are deadly. Sometimes they are not quite deadly, so you would need slight damage increases with Killing Frenzy, for instance. Gives you plus 25% damage. Then a headshot might be deadly. So having Headhunter in addition to Berserk Killing Frenzy just significantly reduces the amount of hits you need to kill an opponent, right? Like it significantly increases your DPS, your damage output. And this is like the difference between killing like 2 or 3 opponents in one turn just with headshots, especially on something like the one-handed X who does 50% bonus damage on headshots. So yeah, I think Headhunter is an incredible nice damage perk. I have played a whole Headhunter run where my whole company had Headhunter and we were just absolute beasts, killing everything like extremely fast. And I still like to take Headhunter on a lot of builds today if I have the free perk. I still like to take this as a casual damage perk. Can also help weapons that struggle with low damage. Something like the great two-handed sword or the flail, right? The two-handed flail can struggle. These weapons that are struggling with damage can help them really out. Also, I really like them on the hammer guy. Because the hammer has the two-handed hammer so high armor damage that like a headshot, even with steel brow, basically completely destroys the head armor of an opponent. And the second hit is like a very high chance that you just outright kill your opponent right away. So Headhunter actually means that you are a lot of the times two-shotting your opponents, your stronger opponents, like Reavers, Chosen, Orc Warriors. And of course, you will more likely one-shot anything that is weaker than that with lower hit points. Yeah, I think Headhunter is an incredible perk for damage. I highly recommend trying that out on any perk on any builds that has basically 3 perks. To the builds I use it on my crossbows, on my crossbow polearm guy. Really like that. I use it on my bow to one-shot marksmen, brigand marksmen, as well as arbalesters from the noble houses. I really like it on greatsword guys, because you have to take in mind there are also weapons that increase the headshot chance, right? That have additional headshot chance. Something like the great two-handed sword has +5 chance to hit the head. A lot of polearms too, as well as the flail has +15% chance, right? And with flame mastery you get additional armor ignore through the mastery. So especially with the two-handed flail Headhunter build is really strong in my opinion against anything. And as I said, I don't think it gets countered by steel bow. You are still more likely to kill your opponent faster by double headshotting them or just straight up one-shotting them with headshots, even if they have steel bow and you have big two-handed weapons that have a shit ton of armor damage and armor ignore. And it can be useful on one-handed weapons if you have an axe duelist, for instance. Yeah, I highly encourage you guys try that out for yourself. I really like it, and in my build guide video that I made, I have specifically stated a couple of those. You can see me stream playing with these Headhunter builds. I have a lot of them. Actually, for the guys who wanna stay in there a little bit, I can just load some saves and show you some Headhunter builds. We are currently in a cultist run, so I have a lot of Headhunter there because on a cultist run you have a lot of extra stats, so you can have extra perks for more damage and whatnot. So, as I said, really like it on greatswords. You have additional headshot chance on the overhead strike, plus 5% chance. Right. And especially with that greatsword, this guy is an absolute monster, an absolute beast. I kind of like it on axes too. Like if you hit head with a great axe, the damage is just through the roof. I tried it with the cleaver, which is kind of okay. Didn't find it that good. Again, the two-handed flail build is just, because of the 15% extra headshot chance, is just crazy strong. This guy has a 40% chance of two-shotting an Orc Warrior, by the way. Surprisingly, I really liked it on the hammer guy. I have a quick-handed ranged hammer guy, because if you hit an opponent with a weapon that has such high armor effectiveness and armor ignore, the head armor is gone, just gone, and the full damage goes to hit points. So if your opponent doesn't have steel bow, he has a problem, right? And even if he has steel bow, his set armor will be gone, so the next hit will go straight to HP. Your full damage, you will do full damage to HP, basically. Kind of like it on great axes, although I don't have it on this one. This is kind of like a more tanky guy. Really like it on sword lances. Because of the reap ability, you just increase the damage. I like Executioner Headhunter. Yeah, it really helps out these weapons that always struggled a little bit with damage. Really like it on my bow guy, so I can just headshot marksmen without headgear, arbalesters without headgear, archers have, the nomad archers tend to have really low headgear, so it just makes it more likely that my bow just one-shots an opponent and that I can potentially snipe 3 opponent archers per turn. Which, if you have a really good archer, this is not a really good archer, and a good famed bow, this is not a good famed bow, you will one-shot, or you can one-shot 3 archers per turn. Really like it on the crossbow. Polearm guy, because both weapons highly benefit from headshots. Because you have really high armor penetration, actually you have 70% armor penetration with mastery on crossbows. So headshots are insane on crossbows. Like on average 60 damage plus the crit at the end with like high armor penetration. That's a one shot on a lot of low HP opponents that don't have steel bow, which are basically all the brigands and whatnot. As well as polearms have plus 5% chance to hit the head. So this weapon highly benefits from the Headhunter ability as well. With quick hands you can do a lot of shenanigans like triggering a headshot with a crossbow and going for the polearm to kill something immediately. Like, you can do a lot of fancy things with that. I have an Axe Duelist. The problem is the Axe Duelist is really perk intensive, so on Battleforge you have to sacrifice something. This guy does not have recover because I'm playing Cultist and I already regret it. So Not recommended on Battleforge, although if you make him nimble, you can skip Steel Row and take Headhunter, therefore. So, yeah, having this guy basically a nimble ex-duelist is something that would work. You also have more fatigue to work with, so the duelists are really hard to build with Headhunter, I have to say. Again, really like it on the great swords. It's the coolest one. I've decided to do multiple great swords, and I'm quite happy with them. The output can be actually quite high with Headhunter and Executioner against most low armored opponents. And with the reliable AoE, it's actually pretty high damage. You have the stab and the swing. Really like it, guys. Highly recommend it. I hope you check it out. Actually, I will try to find another. This was the monolith test. Yeah. Wait, what is this? I think this is my Headhunter run. Yeah, this was my Headhunter run. 1 second, guys. I have... Oh yeah, this guy. An absolute monster. This guy does not have a famed flail. But this guy has a 40% chance of two-shotting an Orc Warrior. Because he has the Brute trait, means plus 15% damage on headshots. If you have this trait, you have a 40% chance of two-shotting Chosen and Orc Warriors. It's just crazy. On top of that, this guy is drunkard. So I'm pretty sure if I would find a famed flail, and with the Killing Frenzy perk, I would actually one-shot Orc Warriors and Chosens with that weapon. The damage is nuts from that. And a lot of people will tell you, two-handed flails, they don't do much damage, and great swords, they don't do much damage. That is kind of true, but if you know how to build them correctly, they do a shit ton of damage. This guy also, another flail Headhunter, absolute monster. These guys have a high amount of kills, and their effectiveness against armor is just, especially on Orc Warriors, you can just completely ignore those 400 body armor. You can just go straight to the head, which is incredibly useful. Same with Chosen, you can just ignore the body armor and go straight to the head. Yeah. This guy, like this is just a Warhammer build that I was experimenting with. Was kind of nice with Headhunter, although I think the quick hand variant with the Great Hammer on top of that is just superior. Again, just an experimental build. I don't know why I have recover on this. Again, experiments. Yeah, I have one with recover, one without recover, one with executioner. I was experimenting with stuff. Guys, I highly recommend you experiment with stuff as well. And yeah, I think you are missing on a lot of hidden potential in the game. There are so many gems that are just not discovered because people think certain builds are just bad and certain perks are bad. I can assure you Headhunter is a great damage perk. Maybe you make a Headhunter by yourself. Highly encouraged. But guys, thank you so much for watching. By the way, I stream daily now, so if you want to join, feel free to join. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Have a nice day. Stay awesome. Bye bye.